Braxcast time once again, guys. This is the 75th episode of the Braxcast, and we've got a lot to talk about, so don't want to bury the lead at all. One of the really exciting things is that Horseman number 1 was just fulfilled, and Yaira number 3 is going to be experiencing fulfillment as well. So it is going to be fulfilling on the 18th of August. Of course, I am filming this on Saturday the 16th, and if you're seeing this and you didn't see a live stream for this week, don't worry, that is happening tomorrow, Sunday the 17th at 6 p.m. Had to change some things around in the schedule, but Braxcast Live is still going to be happening, so look out for that. We're going to be talking about Horseman number 1. Of course, we're going to be hyping up the 5th issue of the Rippazine as well, which is what I am going to talk about right now. So Rippazine number 5 did launch this week, and it is pretty exciting. Of course, this is the standard cover with Jeans Holland doing the cover for that, and then Brandon Ward did the collector's edition, and this is also featuring the character of Blue Shift. That is the big feature. And also there's a very interesting preview of Great War Separation number 3, which leads me to believe it's going to be coming out sooner rather than later if Rippazine number 5 is up for pre-order, and that has Great War Separation 3 in the previews. Really exciting for that. It's also this Revolver Rick, which they say is coming back, which means it's probably going to be in Rippazine number 4, which we have not gotten yet. That's going to be featuring Catch and Kill. But talking about Rippazine number 5, it's going to be featuring the short story of Blue Shift's tryout. Of course, Blue Shift is the Rippaverse's first speeder. This short story is being written by Andrew Rodriguez, who I've had on Braxcast recorded twice. He's been on lives plenty of times. Absolutely fantastic guy, and it's really cool to see him getting a chance to write a short story. Of course, the trailer that revealed Blue Shift's tryout was voiced by a voice actor who featured in Sonic, which is also really cool as well. So this is a high schooler who goes to a Flores Park high school, and he is basically allowed to go to high school for the first time because he is an accept, and the assumption there is that he's a speedster, so he can run really fast and do stuff like that. That's why the name Blue Shift is pretty apt. It's an astronomical phenomenon where frequencies of light shortens, and that's how astronomers can tell if stuff is approaching us. That's Blue Shift, and stuff is going away from us is called Red Shift. The more you know. And there is some other characters that have the name Blue Shift. There's one, I believe, from Shadow of Vengeance comics with a female character, Beth Sanders, if I'm getting it correctly. That's called Blue Shift Frenemies. That's the one that was funding around 5 years ago, but I don't think anything is going to come from that, but I just wanted to let people know. But it is really cool to see Andrew get his breakout debut as a writer for the Rippaverse. And of course, this art is going to be done by Eju Souza, if I'm getting the name correctly, and this does look pretty nice. It's got a really classic comic book style. Would really love to see a full-length book, and of course, North Flores Park High School, so getting more of a look into the standard average everyday lives of Flores Park is going to be pretty interesting. And if he does get a limited series, maybe even an ongoing series, but that's going to be a bit shocking to see that happening, would be really cool to see the more Flores Park from the perspective of a high schooler, especially like, are they talking about Horseman? Are they talking about Alpha Core? Are they talking about Yaira? Talking about Saoirse, right? Because there was a crazy redhead that the cops were talking about in ISOM number 1. So word gets around, and I just wonder what the gossip is looking like in a Flores Park High School. So we might get a little bit of an implication of that in the 16-pager, but it'd be really cool to have even a limited series. But an ongoing series for a speedster, I think, is something that would be really cool. It's just, you don't want to have too many ongoing series going on. But then again, if you don't have enough, then people are going to get angry. And the fact that you do have a speedster, and it does have, he's got this nice character design and everything, I think is a really, really cool thing. And of course, he's got a really cool suit as well, showing off in that collector's edition. Of course, there's a cool poster as well, but I did not want to print out too much stuff there. So that is Rippazine number 5. They are releasing them pretty consistently. Rippazine number 4 has not fulfilled yet. Should hopefully be fulfilling soon, considering that Yaira number 3 is fulfilling, so that should hopefully be on its way in the coming weeks, and that'll be a really interesting one to go through. But of course, absolutely love the Rippazine, and since Andrew is the executive editor of that, it only makes sense that he gets the opportunity to write a short story, and it's really cool that they keep on having short stories in these Rippazines. So we've only had unique characters introduced so far, and people do absolutely love that, but I do really want to see a short story with a character that is already featured. Of course, Braxcast will be really cool, but you could do one that focuses on like Tuna. You could do one that focuses on maybe Gina Gooding. There's just so many side characters that aren't really justified in having their own one-shot books that you could definitely give short stories in Rippazine that we already know about, and that would be a really cool thing for people who know the lore. But I did talk about Horseman fulfilling, and I did put out my review for the Horseman number 1, so I figured I'd show off some signed and graded copies of the Horseman, since I did get all 4, because it's number 1, it's going to be more collectible than any other issue. So I figured, why not? And this is the really cool A cover. Of course, this is done by Kanan White, who did the A cover for Welcome to Forest Park. And of course, he did the A cover for Ice and 1. He's done a bunch of A covers. He's a really good cover artist. So definitely justified him doing that. And this is an absolutely epic cover. And of course, you got that Chuck Dixon signature right there. And the back is always going to look the same. And it's got a pretty long blurb that really explains the Horseman number 1 really well, which is a fantastic book. It just ends right when it gets interesting. That is my basic review. The review does go into a bit of spoiler territory. So I would caution yourself if you have not had the chance to read Horseman number 1 yet, you're still waiting for your copy. You just ordered it and you're waiting for it. Well, get it, read it first, and then watch my review. Or watch my review just knowing that I do give some spoiler talk. But of course, this is Mike Miller's cover. This is a fantastic retro cover. One I used as my reading copy because the cover D is the Welcome to Forest Park cover that Joe Bennett did. That's also the retro cover for cover D. So I figured stick with the retro theme for Horseman. Absolutely love this cover. Pretty epic one. And of course, I just love those text blurbs. So that is that. And then we've got cover. Those are both 9.9s. Cover D right here is a 9.8. And this is Admiral Wajaya's cover. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, gotta love that signature by Chuck Dixon. And now you might ask, why did I skip cover C, Joker? Did you not get cover C? Of course I got cover C. And I figured I'd save the best for last because look at that. That is a 10 mint. This is, of course, the second perfect 10 I have in my Rippaverse graded collection. I have a copy of Item 3. I think it was cover C as well. Or might have been the retro cover. I can't exactly remember which one, but I have an Item 3 cover that is a perfect 10 as well. And this is, of course, the Jack Jadson cover. Jack Jadson cover that is a virgin cover. There is no titling or anything like that, and you've got that signature of Chuck Dixon, and you've got Horseman really brooding in the rain. An absolutely fantastic cover. It just looks really epic. Of course, out of foil, or out of the slab, I ought to say. And the fact that this is a perfect 10, and they sent this to me, just feels really, really cool. So this is definitely probably going to be one of my prized possessions for the foreseeable future. And if, of course, like 20 years from now, we're all talking about the Horseman movie, then this is going to be worth a 4 to 5 figure amount. But of course, if the 100 issues of Horseman that Chuck Dixon has flying around in his head does not materialize and Rippaverse goes belly up for whatever reason, then it's not going to be worth anything, which is why they're collectors for items for me. I don't view them as investments. If I wanted to invest my money that I spend on slabs, I would just put it into my IRA, and I ought to have done that, but hey, what are you going to do? I do have a bit of glutton for punishing my wallet, as my wallet can attest to. But that is everything I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Of course, Yaira 3 will be fulfilling. We'll most likely be getting it next week. So everything with the Rippaverse is going to only keep heating up. And of course, there's all these things that they are going to keep on releasing and fulfilling. Like I said, Rippazine number 4 is going to be fulfilling soon, since the IR3 is fulfilling. And there is just so much stuff that they're always announcing and doing, not only with Rippaverse, but Rippascend as well. So if you don't want to miss anything or get lost in what's going on, then be sure to keep up with the Braxcast, because I will be covering it all every Saturday. And of course, I will be doing the live streams as well. But that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Joker is out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Rippaverse.